You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811 is the Front Porch Line message line number. You can call it anytime, 24/7, 365 days a year. Maybe someone will answer, maybe someone won't, but inevitably you will be recorded, and we will put your beautiful voice on the air. I am joined across the table of the interwebs by Tombstone and Ozzy. Gentlemen,
it was brilliant.
It seems like it's been such a long time since I've seen you two last, but yet it seems so short at the same time. I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing.
It's 9:30 at night and you're rambling.
I am, but what can I say?
So you texted me this week that you had gone to a head shop.
I did.
And I don't know what a head shop is in Nebraska, but in South Carolina, it means something entirely different than what you were referring to.
Well, this is not in the red light district of Nebraska.
No. There's a third. No, that's a third definition. We're not talking about that kind of head shop either.
Okay.
Ozzy's about to lose it over there. Ozzy has muted himself. He is about to fall backwards in his chair. No, I hear a head shop is a place that sells marijuana-related glassware.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking of, Oz?
So we don't exactly have that here.
You don't have marijuana?
Well, I'm sure we do. We have places that just say
to legalize it.
We have places that just say glassware and the picture of a bong up on the billboards.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, oh.
I mean, if you saw this, it wouldn't say head shop on the sign above the door, but head shop is a colloquial term for that kind of shop.
See, I didn't know that. So now I'm learning. I'm learning things.
Clue.
See, just like last week, we didn't know how much marijuana weighed. We didn't know the stores that you procure it.
It's totally okay. You guys are not familiar with that terminology. It's fine. Totally fine.
I understand.
Apparently, you've done some studying over the past week.
I have accumulated some knowledge over the course of my lifetime. Yes,
I see how it is. No. So I finally got the heads ripped off my pickup truck. So I ended up buying back 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago now.
Okay, real quick. Oh yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry, you're in the middle of doing background. I'm sorry. I was going to interrupt you.
I bought an F350. That was from 2006 with the 6.0 liter diesel engine in it. 50,000 miles on this truck. And it is 13 years old now.
That's not bad at all.
That's kind of crazy, kind of interesting. So, apparently the guy who owned it previous to me used it to tow his model sports car or whatever to shows on the weekends around the Illinois, Chicago area. And that's kind of all he did with it.
He bought a truck to pull one car.
Leased it for 13 years.
My God.
I don't know how that works. Yes, I don't know how that works.
Maybe it was a business write-off thing.
I don't know how he did it. I don't know why he did it, but leased it for 13 years.
I am perplexed.
He was a police officer, Chicago police officer, so that could explain some things about taking some write-offs.
Did he lease it from a criminal?
I don't know. He actually leased it from the shop or from the dealership I bought it at. And so when I bought it, he goes, "Yeah."
Aren't auto dealerships notoriously shady though?
They are slightly. So I talked to the dealer, and the guy's like, "Well, yeah." When the guy traded this in, he came in and traded for a F650. Which is like the 3-ton.
That's like a freight train.
Yeah,
truck, right?
That's huge.
So it's got the big truck frame. It's got it's just a ridiculous vehicle. Anyways, he traded up for that because he wanted to be able to pull his vehicles easier. And I'm thinking, okay. So this truck was completely stock when I bought it. I took a peek under the hood. There was nothing glaring wrong with it. Get it home. about a year and a half later, I end up having fuel gel up. Now, we won't talk about that because that's still a contentious issue in our house of why the fuel gelled up. But it involves not putting in the additive into the
why
the fuel
would that?
tank
Why
during
would
the
that
winter.
affect the heads though?
Well, I don't know if it's directly related, but it caused us to find out the issue. Theory going that my theory is that number one, we know that caused an injector to go. The gel and fuel caused the injector to go,
right?
Which is probably just a chunk of paraffin down in the bottom of the injector. But the problem is the tip on the injector is like a pinhole, and good luck getting a chunk of paraffin out of a pinhole. It's just not going to happen. And so my theory is that that exasperated the issue with the heads. Now, the 6.0 engine is notorious for the heads to go bad. Number one, they're not square from the factory sometimes. Number two, the head bolts aren't strong enough. And so you have to get new head bolts. The head bolts stretch. They weren't pre-stretched before they were installed. And so you have to get better bolts or better studs or something. And so I ended up taking to the shop for the injector issue, found out that the Tombstone smashing things with plates of food.
Subtle.
That's incredible. I need plates of food. So anyways, the shop quoted me like $10,000 to get these heads fixed. And to re-gasket the thing.
What's the lifetime supposed to be on those?
Jeez.
Like 300,000 miles?
Unfortunately, the 6.0 engine varied from 50,000 miles to like 100,000 miles before the heads died. And that is the huge issue with it. And so it's notorious.
That sounds like a design problem.
It was
at Ford.
And so what ended up happening is a bunch of people came out with aftermarket solutions for this, including an upgraded exhaust recirculation device, a brand new oil cooler device.
I want to make a joke about an exhaust recirculation device.
I know you not. I know you do. Easy there, Tombstone. Too early in the show for that.
In my house, we just refer to that as a Dutch oven.
Thank you. And so there's lots of aftermarket things we can do, Tombstone, to fix this truck, including putting in like $400 studs in to bolt down the head, along with brand new gaskets. So that's happening. I've got the heads off. Took it to one shop. Did I tell you about the one shop I took it to? Walk in.
You talked about one last week. I don't know. Is this the same one?
No. So this is the head shop. I hadn't visited that shop yet, and so I actually went in. I looked at the shop. It was an absolute mess. Talked with the gentleman, and he thought I had a gas engine, and I'm like, no, I have 4 valves. It's a diesel engine, and he's like, oh. Then didn't know anything about it.
That's super encouraging.
Yeah. So I was like, well, how much are you going to charge me? And he's like, well, $600 if there's nothing wrong and if I don't have to do the valves. And I'm like, whew, just milling it down, it'll cost $600. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Week and a half turnaround time. And I'm like,
was he an LS guy?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, he showed me the LS heads that he had sitting on the shelf. Wanted me to swap out mine for his, and I'm like, those aren't gonna fit. So anyway,
I mean, to be fair, if he runs an LS only shop, he might have thought that you were an LS owner.
Well, he's not an LS only shop. He does everything, but apparently didn't know much about the 6.0s. And so, anyways, I find this other shop down at the suggestion of Facebook, which that's always reliable. Down in a small little town, and this place is like nestled in the back of a Napa shop.
Ooh,
and,
nice.
And so I walked into the Napa shop, and I'm like, "Is this the place that does the heads?" And they're like, "No, it's the doorway in the back over there." And he's not in; he's out to lunch. And I look at my clock, and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, this does not bode well. Doesn't bode well at all.
Was the guy's name Earl or something? Like, because this sounds like
Johnny.
all right.
Johnny. Or
Dude,
Jono.
this sounds great.
Jono. I think his name's Jono.
That's awesome.
Anyways, so I go do one of my stops. I come back and his truck's there, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go talk to him. So I go in and talk to him.
Go talk to Jono.
Go talk to Jono. And so I go in there, and the place is an absolute mess, but his tooling surfaces are beautiful and clean. And I'm like, okay, this guy cares about his craft. And so I start talking to him, asking him some questions, and I made the comment, oh yeah, anytime you mill a 6.0 head, you have to do a valve job. And he looks at me and goes, no. And then he goes, only if you take off, and he labels off this number to the thousandths of an inch. And that was the answer. I baited him. I honestly baited him.
Nice.
And he gave me the right answer and then told me the clearance on the valves. And I was like,
Jono from the back of the place.
When can I bring you my heads and how much will it cost?
Take my money.
He says
right now.
He says $400 with valve jobs. The other place was $600 without valve jobs.
Did you hug the man?
I wanted to. I thought it would be inappropriate.
What was the turnaround?
I will have them back next Friday. I won't be in town again until next Friday.
Nice.
And so, but I will have them back by then. So I'm going to Wyoming Monday and Tuesday next week, or out towards there, like the Wyoming border. And then I'm headed to Des Moines on Wednesday, Thursday, and back to Omaha on Friday of next week. So I will pick them up on my way home from Omaha and Des Moines.
So I think the real question is this man available for interviews next week?
He might be. I want to know how bad my heads are. Because, I mean, who wouldn't, what show in their right mind wouldn't want some guy who randomly works on diesel motor heads on the show?
In the back of a Napa shop.
In the back of a Napa shop.
That's even better.
Right. I may talk him into showing up or being on the show because, I don't know, I think it'd be cool. So, anyways, when we get back, we got tons of news stories. Guys, did you know that the Electoral College is racist?
Yes, I did know that, actually.
You know, I think I figured that, because why wouldn't it be?
Unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs.
She got them realtor eyes.
We're going to flip this seat red in November.
I can always tell by realtor eyes. She got them.
I think she's living in banana land.
I am not the expert on geopolitics.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
How are you the boss for coming up with a plan that doesn't work?
Is it okay to still have children?
Is it okay?
I personally believe some people out there in our nation don't have that, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa,
this is so hard for me to listen to.
Iraq, everywhere, like such
every time.
And
I'm
gonna make you cut. I'm gonna make you cut that.
We're gonna pour one out for the tomatoes.
You got a tiny person behind you, by the way.
I know I do.
You do.
I know I do.
He snuck up and snuck in.
No, he is. He's going to go downstairs because that's where he's supposed to be.
So Aaron, my question to you is: before you met your wife, before I met my wife,
why are we
and then
going
before
to
you
this
met your wife,
would
you have tried? Would you have tried to date the AOC
without
in college?
Without a doubt.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Without a doubt.
Because a woman who's really attractive and doesn't care if you're morally and or factually correct in every instance is exactly the ideal candidate for dating.
It is. Not the ideal candidate for marriage.
No, that's all I can say on that matter. Safely.
I'm just saying.
I have to have a place to sleep tonight.
So, yeah.
Just kidding. My wife doesn't listen to this show because she says it's too long. That's a whole different conversation we should have at some point.
My wife just shakes her head the whole time.
I'm kind of in the head shaking zone. So I think actually whatever I say here is actually probably perfectly safe unless my mother listens to it.
There you go. Well, yeah.
So that's a whole different conversation. I had to have you call her, apologize, make nice. Since you've got her number on speed dial, probably.
Do I? I'm
pretty sure you do.
So
you did last time we talked about it. Check your phone, see if she's in there.
Oh, let's see. Where's my phone?
She's under Tombstone's mom.
Let's see here.
So
I'm not seeing it in here.
she seems like if her mind was not poisoned by leftism, she'd probably be a very nice lady.
Possibly.
Talking about AOC, not my mom.
Yeah. Oh, right. Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, anytime.
I was kind of wondering there.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of people in my phone book, and I don't have.
I mean, you have to give it to her. She is extremely passionate about everything that she does. But yeah, she's just extremely wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I hate the fact that I'm going to defend her a little bit, but
oh man,
I understand where she's coming from her side of things.
Right.
Well,
like,
that's because you're well, you don't have a college degree, but you're a college educated millennial. That sounded way more cutting than I intended to be. But you've been in that milieu. You've been in that milieu, and you know like how people in that age bracket think and how dumb they can be.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Right, Ben?
Yes, I think you're right. I'm
not talking about you. I mean, just in general, like millennials are stupid.
Oh, they can't. It's to the nth degree, depending on their education.
Actually, what I mean to say that is a lot of millennials, and I've said this before, a lot of millennials are miseducated. Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, you can't really be surprised by this because think about it. Like, we're the generation that grew up with all of the insane public school changes. The parents were going off and they were getting 2 jobs because they have to. You know what I mean? Like, we're in that generation.
Which reminds me
where credit is due to Elizabeth
I'll tell you what. I was just going to say. Tell you what I'll do. I don't know if it'll be next week, but definitely the week after. I will bring you a review of the 2 income trap.
I need to hear it. I'll do it.
We'll make it happen because we talk about it all the time.
We do.
Definitely.
So because Elizabeth Warren persists in being in my electoral news cycle.
It's in my reading list. So speaking of electoral and electoral college, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC as we lovingly call her.
The AOC, yes, not to be confused with the OC.
Took to Instagram the other day.
Why is it always Instagram? Don't answer that question. Go ahead.
I don't know why, but it is. And she presented the reasons why the Electoral College is racist.
Lay it on me.
She basically driving through rural America, she started joking about how many votes there are in rural America.
There are a lot, yes.
Wait, what does she
Or
consider rural
thereof.
America? Is that like anything outside of New York City?
Anything west of the Hudson, probably.
Because there's nothing west of the Hudson. And she says, many votes here, as you can see, very efficient way to choose the leadership of our country. I mean, I can't think of another way. Can you? And then, of course, she comes back to how she says that Black, Hispanic, and Asian American voters are underrepresented by the Electoral College compared to white Americans. Due to several racial disparities in certain states, the Electoral College effectively weighs white voters over color voters as opposed to one person, one vote system where our votes are equally counted. Okay.
So you want to know the
No.
easiest way to blow this out of the water?
What's that?
Very simple. The Union would never have existed without the Electoral College.
No.
The Electoral College was part of the compromise that put the Union together when the Constitution was ratified.
Yeah, so
that's all there is to it.
So the Electoral College, the Electoral College really stems from that idea that the states have power. That
Right.
The states.
We are a collection of sovereign states, which is something that nobody wants.
People don't
that was
believe that
basically
nowadays.
That concept of running a republic was basically abolished in 1865. We said no mas.
They said no more. So if we really wanted to take care of it back then in 1865, we should have abolished the Electoral College as well.
Right.
When when Abraham Lincoln said no, you can't do that.
You guys need to click on the link, by the way, that I sent you.
Okay.
I clicked on it. I love how New Jersey is
Did
the
it come
first
up?
thing that comes up.
Yeah.
So
well, New Jersey is just barely west of the Hudson, so
that's a great map. We're gonna put that up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, do that.
I'm so rural.
And so one of the things that I keep coming back to is if you look at the states that Democrats have typically won in the past, and if Hillary Clinton had won those states,
which I mean that
just
everything has moved around.
I understand that, but think about it.
Years.
Think about it though. If Hillary Clinton had won those states, won the popular vote in those states, she would have won the Electoral College.
And they wouldn't be racist today.
They wouldn't be racist.
But
But that's the problem. Here's the problem. The problem isn't the Electoral College. The problem is the left, progressives, always call people racist.
Yes.
And I will not defend myself against that.
You can't.
I will not, and I cannot, and I'm just not going to. I will not spend the energy. If someone calls me a racist, I'm walking away. Because I will not. I'm not a racist. I'm not going to defend myself against that.
And they've immediately shut down lines of communication.
Absolutely.
Like, because of making the assumption, you know what? Here it is. I'm laying it out. There's nothing you can say even to persuade someone because it's already gone. Like, their assumptions are made. Their mind is made up. It's closed.
So what I can do, just in the interest of being even and fair-minded, which I'm not, but you can game it out. You can game it out, and you can look at how an election would go if it was based on the popular vote. So because we have the Electoral College, smaller states have a little bit, maybe you say a lot more leverage, but smaller states have more leverage, like Iowa. Yeah. Nobody would care about Iowa. Right. You would never have an Iowa caucus. You would never have Iowa primary
because no one
you wouldn't have a South Carolina primary. So, and I'm not saying necessarily changing the landscape of the primary would be bad in itself, but it would look very, very different. And all major candidates would spend all their time on the coasts. They would spend 100% of the time in LA, San Francisco, and New York, and New Jersey. That's it.
You're right.
Right.
In Philadelphia, maybe.
Because what would be the point? Like, spend the time where the most people are. That's going to make the most difference.
So what we get, whether you want to say this is racist or not, but what we do get as a result is a more balanced slate of candidates instead of basically totalitarian rule by the coasts, which would be awful and would honestly probably break up the union.
Well,
I know secession is no longer.
I was just going to say that you want to see another revolution.
Revolution is a really strong word, but I don't think the union would survive in any case.
It wouldn't. But
so
revolution or dissolving of the union, one or the other.
I prefer velvet. Velvet revolution.
We've had this discussion, and I don't think we've had this on the air before, but I'm going to say it anyways. First time for everything.
Here we go.
Yeah. There's a first time for everything on the air. I don't think that as we exist as a country is stable. I do not think that it's sustainable that we exist as such a giant country with such diverse, with such differing political.
It's not only
views.
that we're diverse in our interests, is that we are rapidly diverging more and more every day.
We have totally different views on so many things that are not, you can't compromise on them.
And I probably don't have to say this, but this is not about Trump. Like, okay, we all know Trump's a little bit wacky. Like today he ordered UPS and FedEx to inspect packages for fentanyl, was it?
Well,
I'm not convinced Trump is all there.
He ordered businesses not to buy from China because trade war.
The problem is if you split off part of the country, especially the South and or Midwest, the problem is you have a Puritan totalitarian set of people on the coasts that think that we're going to reinstate Jim Crow the day after we leave the Union, which
couldn't be farther from the truth.
Yeah, but good luck convincing that of them because they think the fact that we have the Electoral College is racist. Imagine.
Right.
And there are also larger strategic and economical concerns. I think we could move. So for Europeans, the EU is bad, but for Americans, the EU type structure might actually be an improvement if we handed a little bit more sovereignty back to the states in sort of a structured way.
Right. But
there'd probably still be there'd probably be a lot of state by state bullying.
You have that.
We're probably never going to
you have that forced morality from Washington.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this all goes back to Whig history and Barack Obama. The arc of history bends endlessly toward justice, yada yada yada, because they think they're predestined to win. They don't know how to not win, so they'll keep hassling us until we do what they want.
Another quick comment,
which we do. We always do eventually.
Yes.
Another quick comment on the Electoral College. Did you see the court case that came out just yesterday in Denver? The 10th Circuit Court of Appeals?
No, tell me more.
What do we got?
Electoral College. The Electoral College members are not bound to the state's popular vote. They may vote in any way they want.
So isn't that on a
is
state by
good.
state basis though?
Yeah, I thought that was also what Tombstone was saying. I thought it was state by state.
Yes, it is on a case.
See, this seems like how are electors picked though? Are they picked by the governor?
So-
are they picked in caucuses, or how's it work for them?
I believe the electors are picked by the parties in the state, possibly.
Is this solving a problem for them, or is this creating more problems?
What
Oh wait! Hold on. They were trying to bind it by popular vote,
yes,
weren't they?
yes.
You said popular vote. I was thinking popular vote in the state. And I was
No.
like, that's the normal way of doing it.
No, so they are.
You're
trying
talking
to
about
bind it.
national
Yes.
popular vote.
Yes.
I'm tracking. So that's what the
gosh.
liberals are trying to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the.
Which would have been hilarious if Trump had won the popular vote in 2020.
Basically, they may choose whomever they please, which is the way it was intended. The Electoral College was designed to be the checks and balances on a. May I say it? An idiotic populace.
Did you know during 2016 that Ron Paul got more Electoral College votes than Evan McMullen?
And you know what? I'm very good with that.
Ron Paul wasn't even running for
And you know what?
anything.
That's fine. He also got more than Bill Weld. So
or
we're good.
as Ace of Spades calls him, Egg McMuffin. Did you know there's a lot of Mormons in the CIA?
No, but why is that? Total random tidbit
So
there.
I can tell you, I can't tell you who told me this. Like, I literally can't tell you. But I have been told by someone who would know that Mormons are heavily recruited because they're very. I'm trying to think how we put it. It has basically to do with how they interact with authority structures. Like, they have a very, very high level of inbuilt trust for authority structures, and they're comfortable working in it. And also they're also apparently very good at identifying terrorists and doing analyst work.
So I would not be a good candidate for the CIA.
No, you'd be a terrible candidate.
Because I do not relate well to authority structures.
Yeah.
No, that stings.
So from what I've been told, the CIA likes to hire Mormons and religious people in general because of the way they think.
I can see that. I understand why.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing per se. But
no.
Just interesting side note.
Okay.
But Evan McMullen is a Mormon who worked for the CIA. That's the only reason I bring that up.
Just to go into that, have you guys watched started watching the Netflix documentary type thing called The Family?
I watched all 5 episodes.
Right. That gets.
Yeah.
So is that
I only
the
watched
weird,
the first episode.
The preacher,
so far.
like the megachurch preacher thing.
No. The family is so basically there's an organization.
Okay, can I confess something?
Yeah.
Without being self-righteous, I canceled my Netflix.
What is wrong with you?
That's a totally different topic.
I no longer like Netflix.
That's okay.
It was no longer worth
it. That's fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
The relentless progressive agitprop they pump out on the screen.
So this was a documentary with Walter Cromwell.
Cronkite.
No, Cromwell, not Walter.
Yes.
What's his name?
What are you talking about?
Went to Middlebury College. Was the farmer and Babe.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was the narrator.
What?
Yeah.
You've just made a string of illusions. I have no idea what you're referencing.
Anyways,
when did Babe go to Middlebury College?
No, he was the farmer in Babe, Pig in the City, and Babe, just the original Babe. What's his name?
I don't know.
Farmer Hodgett or Blodgett or something.
Oh my gosh.
Hoggett, Farmer Hoggett. I'm telling you guys.
So what does this have to do with Middlebury College?
Anyways, he was the narrator through the documentary. He is a flaming liberal, very, very progressive guy. James Cromwell, that's his name, James Cromwell. You know exactly who he is.
I know, I do now. Yes.
Anyway, so they follow this story through Washington, and kind of there's this religious organization called the Family in the background of everything in Washington, and
it's really, really strange.
It kind of is this combination of cult / Jesus hippie
kind of
type.
Yeah. So
thing.
they have
is John Goodman in this?
No, John Goodman is not in this. This is not a
what
comedy.
am I thinking of? I've seen another show that he's in recently.
That's The Big Lebowski.
No. Okay, so what is it based on?
Whatever you say, man.
essentially the premise is that this religious organization and this one bigwig religious dude who nobody knows
is this
about
like a prequel to A Handmaid's Tale or whatever?
No. I mean, this is actually based in reality.
Yeah. Like this is actually supposed to be a thing. Essentially, like they are the ones who are like helping
they're pulling the strings. Yeah, they're pulling the strings.
And pulling the strings. And it's very creepy because it goes like all the way back to
it makes sense. So it's back in the back 50, 60 years ago.
Right.
And it's fascinating.
So,
I think they get a lot of things right in it.
Which flavor of Christians is it? Is it Northeastern Puritan Unitarians, or is it
no? So this is
Southern Baptist people?
No. This is the Jesus hippie. This is the Jesus hippie.
They don't really relate to any Christian. They're almost like their own Christian sect.
Is Democrats, Republicans. You can support abortion. You don't have to. Just Jesus, man.
I am purely more confused now than I was 5 minutes
Anyways,
ago.
It's fascinating because as they explain the things, there's things I've seen in Washington that that looked hinky to me that now make a little bit more sense seeing this background of this movie or of this documentary. And so it was interesting. If you get a chance to watch it, because it's definitely fascinating.
It is a very interesting thing.
I think they took it a little bit too far anti-Christianity at the end. Like the last episode, they kind of went hard, separation of church and state, and they went very hard on that. And I'm like, that's that. But yeah, it definitely seems that a lot of the people in Washington are catering to this organization. So yeah, look it up. The Family. Nice conspiracy. Yeah.
I'm frantically Googling here.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a rabbit hole. All right, guys, we will be back. Tombstone will explain to us about his the boat. I don't know. We'll find out in a couple minutes.
Smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa.
That was a non-gendered person, Ken, and you just gave it a gender.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
All right, leave this guy alone with his poor constipated poops. We're going to come back and talk about politics. That's what really matters here.
Or boats. I mean, boats is close second, right?
Same difference, right?
Same difference.
Basically
it's the same thing. So a couple weeks ago, Tombstone's been talking about a sailboat, getting a sailboat for months now. A couple months on the show, he's mentioned it just about every episode. And Ozzy gets on
Am I
2
obsessed?
weeks ago.
I must be
slightly, but it's okay. I like sailboats. So Ozzy gets on a couple weeks ago and is like, "Hey, my dad has a boat that's been sitting in the backyard for a while."
Well, so Claire, so back up a little bit. So until Ben and I had not talkked recently at all until last week. Like I think, other than texting, we haven't really talked since college has been 10 years now.
Right,
which is terrifying.
It really
is.
So, like, literally, the second thing I asked Ben after finding out where he lives is, "Do you have a sailboat?" And Ben says,
"Yeah."
What did you say, Ben?
I don't, because I live near the water, but my dad bought a boat about 30 years ago, I guess. And it's been sitting ever since they moved up into Georgia 20 years ago. It's been sitting in the backyard. So
Tombstone's got a lead on a boat.
I have a lead on a boat. So I called Ben's mother, and she said, "Are you the answer to my prayers?" And I said, "Maybe." Because she's been praying for God to take that boat out of her backyard for about 10 years, and the Lord has seen fit to answer her prayer. So
that sounded so Southern.
Yes. Yes, she has.
But,
she's been trying to get rid of it forever. I think
So
since
I'm
my
waiting-
dad got it.
Just describe
I'm waiting
this
on a
boat,
call back.
Ozzy.
I'm waiting on a call back from Ozzy's dad to make sure that I can, in fact, pull the boat away.
It is I think it's about maybe a 20-footer, something like
18.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
so an 18-footer. It's just a sailboat. It's got, I mean,
It's got a mast
really,
and some sails.
yeah, it's really plain Jane. It's nothing special. It's a small little boat. Works really well unless something horrible is wrong with it. But
So you
we've
said you
had-
sank
yeah,
it
you
at
said
one
you
point.
sank it, and that's what brought it to the air.
This is what I need to know more about. Your dad didn't mention this when I called.
So, he'll tell you the story. So basically, my dad, we are a family of 6, and so my dad had this dream of getting this boat, and he bought this boat when I was
is not
like,
designed for 6 people. I need to point that out.
I was right, 6 full-grown people.
No,
But so when I was about 5, the boat got bought, and we lived in Indiana. There were a million lakes in Indiana that we would go to, and so my dad went out with my sister, who was a teenager, and her friend, and then I think my mother and somebody else. And so my dad tells this girl, who is probably 16 years old and was terrified of boats, that if the water got past this line, that the boat would sink. And lo and behold, they forgot to put in a couple of the plugs.
Oh,
yeah, that'll
no.
happen.
And they got
No, you're supposed to do
waterlogged.
that before you put the boat in the water.
And they got waterlogged, and that boat sank, and that girl freaked out.
Oh no!
I bet.
So-
How deep was it?
She probably hasn't been sailing
It
since.
really wasn't that deep. I mean, they were in, I think, maybe 4 foot of water at the time.
Okay.
So it wasn't dramatic, but the boat did actually sink, and then they had to get it towed out and everything.
So when you say 18-foot sailboat, you talking like just no cabin type thing, or
no cabin at all.
It's
No cabin at
got
all.
a compartment in the front for like your
Right.
floaties and a spinnaker sail,
Right.
and it's got a cockpit that's maybe like what 8 feet long.
Yes, exactly.
So
Exactly.
like this thing, kind of like what this looks like.
I can send
This
you
is
a
what I'm
picture of it.
envisioning. Just basically,
That's
you sit there.
that's pretty close, actually.
It's
yes.
pretty close. I think it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, essentially, yeah, that's basically it. So
No kidding.
I mean, we had so many random things. My dad.
So Ben, did you ever get knocked off the boat by the boom?
Oh yes. Oh yes, my dad, dude, he would turn that thing and he'd go, "Watch the boom, boom," and you'd be gone out of the boat. I got hit so many times with that thing. Oh,
that's incredible.
And
I'm probably going to make my kids wear a helmet when I go out. I don't want to get clocked in the head.
It's not that bad. I
Have them
remember
wear a
my
little-
dad. My dad is obsessed with Ben-Hur, and so in the
He
old
actually mentioned
Ben-Hur,
this when I called him.
did he mention this?
He
So
did.
in the old
That's
Ben-Hur,
so awesome.
my dad is all right. So the part where they're on the slave ship and you have the guy that's drumming, and he says, "Row harder, row faster," whatever. That is my dad. So my dad would sit in the back of the boat, steering the boat, and then we would have the sail down, because you don't want the sail up immediately when you take the boat out, because for various reasons. So you kind of row out a little bit with manual oars, because it does not have an engine. And so we would have, I think we have 4 oars. And so you're talking about 4 kids who are under the age of 16 and under. And my dad would be like, "Row harder," to get, because the wind would have died or whatever else. And so we got stuck out in the middle of the lake once because there was no wind at all.
You guys weren't rowing hard enough.
So we dropped the sail and we had to row all the way back with my dad chanting, "Row harder." Row for your lives or whatever it was.
That's so
man,
awesome.
it was so bad.
I think the line was "row well if you want to live."
That's it. Yes,
That is
That's so
okay.
amazing.
Yes. Oh man, and my mother shot him a look, and I thought she was going to knock him off the boat.
I will,
So
I will probably get a set of clamp-on oar locks or something so I can paddle it myself if I have to.
That's
Right,
That's
right.
incredible.
So that sounds like fun.
So where
it was a blast.
where are you planning on taking it, Tombstone? I mean, you gonna go
Probably-
deep ocean cruising with this thing?
Probably no, it's not big enough.
Oh.
Probably Kiwi or Hartwell. Something.
I assume
whatever
those
big
are
lake.
lakes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would actually love to take it down to the coast, but I need to get some experience first, so I don't end up sinking it.
I'm kind of nervous for you, but I kind of want you to make sure that you got some waterproof cameras.
This boat does not have a keel, so it doesn't have a lot of weight in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So it is susceptible to capsizing if you turn across the wind and you have too much sail and you don't let go of the main sheet, which is the line that controls the mainsail, then if your mainsail catches the wind going across, you're going to get blown over.
You know, if
it's too much wind.
You know, you can get one of those. What do they call them? That drop off the side, right? One of those keels.
It's got a dagger board. It just doesn't have a keel. It's got a dagger board, just no keel. So it's not a lot of weight.
Not a lot of weight, but still.
So you can't. Probably what I will do is rig a mast floaty for it. So if it goes over, at least it won't what they call turtle, which is go all the way upside down.
Yeah.
So you can they're designed to be able to be righted,
very easily.
as long as you don't die. You can climb on top of it, pull it over, and you can get back in it.
Right.
So because they're designed for racing, and sometimes when you're racing, you capsize.
I really need someone in a sail in a motorboat next to you. For like the first 5 times, yes, with cameras rolling, because this is just incredible. It's going to be beautiful.
It is a lot of fun. It is a blast.
I'm visualizing this now. I'm seeing it.
It is a blast.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Oh man, have you sailed before though, Tombstone? Like
only with a friend. I've never been at the tiller. Well, pardon me, I have been at the tiller, but I've never messed with the sails.
So you're pretty green.
So I'm pretty green, but I've been reading books and watching YouTube videos.
Well, yeah, I mean YouTube. That's how my truck is in the state that it's in right now.
Yeah,
YouTube.
I bought a really nice book by a guy named David Sedman, and it's like 120 pages of nothing but explanations and really nice pen drawings of sailing techniques.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So really nicely illustrated. I don't know if you know the book I'm talking about. If you've seen it.
I haven't personally seen it.
I can't.
But it's really nice. So it's actually very enjoyable. It's not too hard to read.
Overall, it is not hard to do. I mean, we used to, I was probably, I guess, probably 5 when we got it. And then, I knew most everything about the boat by the time I was 8 to be able to sail it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just physically having the ability, obviously you can't when you're that small, but, a knowledge of where, of doing most everything is it's pretty simple. The hardest thing was getting the freaking sail up. And getting the mast on the boat, because obviously you don't travel with the mast up.
Yeah, getting it rigged. When I went out with my friend,
getting it set up is probably the hardest part.
My friend that lived here that I went out with, he had a boat that was almost identical, and he it would take a little bit to get it set up and get it rigged. So
yeah, don't hurt yourself, Tombstone. But man, have a blast. Be careful. That'll be.
I'm gonna wear a flotation device.
Well, yeah, I think you should, at least the first couple times. I don't know. I'm telling you,
out there.
Waterproof camera, Tombstone.
I'll do it just for you.
I like it. Guys, I gotta ask you a question.
Do it.
What temperature do you set your thermostats to in your houses?
Oh, that's a great question. This is like one of those mundane dad questions we're gonna have really strong opinions about.
Oh yeah, it is.
93.
Oh my goodness.
I'm kidding. 77.
77. Okay, that's for cooling.
Right.
Cooling. Okay.
Right. We're cheap.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Tombstone, what's your cooling?
74, 75.
Yeah, that's us. We're 74, 75.
Before I had kids, before I had an entire house to cool, when I was living in a small apartment, it was like 68.
Well, yeah. Awesome. It's amazing how that works.
Going home to an icebox.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do 74, 75, somewhere in there, 76,
And
77,
I will tell you the reason that I leave it at 74 instead of 78 or whatever Osmond said is that the air conditioner works about as hard whether I set it at 74 or 78. Because it gets so hot anyways, it's like if you're gonna run it 23 hours a day, you might as well go ahead and start cool.
Yeah. Ours definitely does not run that much.
See, our issue is the humidity.
Much more moderate,
and we've got to cut the humidity somehow. And that if we don't have that thermostat down to 74, it doesn't cut the humidity. The house becomes muggy. So,
excuse me. Last summer, in like September, maybe August, our power went out, and the house was about 77, 78 when the power went out. The house was unlivable inside about 15 minutes.
That stinks.
Yeah.
No bueno.
And that was at like 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That humidity, man, it'll kill you.
Someday I would like to build a house that you could either heat it with air conditioning heat with air conditioning. You could cool it with air conditioning, or you could cool
a unique house
with you could cool it with windows and breezeways.
It'd be cool.
Like a whole house fan. That is what I've been looking into.
So what is a whole house fan? Tell me more about this.
Essentially, you place it into, depending on how big your house is, you place it into about the middle of the house, usually the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And then what it does is it's just a super powerful, large, like 36-inch, 24-inch to 36-inch fan that is on the ceiling that ventilates into the attic. And essentially, you open windows in the house. Once the air outside cools down, you turn the fan on for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that. And all of a sudden, your whole house is the same temperature as outside.
So the hang up here is often, like this summer, there have been a lot of nights where the air never gets below 80 degrees outside.
Yep.
Right.
And it's wet as a soggy blanket.
I would say more northern region of the states.
So you bump into an issue there. If you want to try and live without air conditioning, you bump into an issue where the stuff you own is not going to last as long with that level of humidity in the house.
Well, not in the south. Up in the north it might.
So I think so. There's a part of me. It's like I think I've told you about this, but when I went to the Agorama when I was a kid down in Tifton, Georgia, they had an example of a old farmhouse with a giant breezeway in the middle. And basically, back then, if it was really hot, you would sleep in the breezeway. You wouldn't sleep in your room. And they use swamp coolers and stuff like that.
Well, you have
to have a house that's loosely built. Like, you can't build a house that's well insulated and do that. No. You can't do both.
You're from the South. You understand that whole thing. They did something very similar in Australia, where they do the houses with the porches all around the outsides.
Yeah. Right.
And that was marvelous.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I've never slept in a more comfortably climate controlled house than that. And it's just because the sun couldn't beat in the windows because of the porches. And then all the windows were open during the night.
Yeah.
And it got nice and cool. And there was that perfect airflow going right up, kind of to what Ozzy was saying with the fan. But it was just this natural airflow coming in the windows, going right out the roof.
Right.
And it was incredible.
And again, when we were living in South Africa, it would get hotter than it is here, but it would also cool off a lot more at night.
Right.
So you wouldn't feel like you were dying.
Cooling at night is what really makes the difference.
And it wasn't as humid. So, and also the houses there are not insulated. There's no insulation in those houses. There's a tile roof, rafters, ceiling, and the walls are cinder block.
Right.
So the houses are not built real tight.
That again is a big thing too. The cinder blocks will hold a lot of the cool air from the night.
Yeah,
and
you also have tile floor as well,
right?
And a concrete floor which conducts heat.
Absolutely,
right.
The only issue in South Africa is the snakes.
Actually, the spiders.
Spiders. I don't want to talk about that.
No, big spiders.
No.
Yeah, they would come in the house.
So
I drowned one night in bug spray.
Turns out, Ozzy, you are nailing the consumer reports. Consumer Energy Report suggests that your air conditioning be set at 78 degrees or above.
Fake news.
It also suggests that homes kept at 85 degrees when people aren't home and 82 degrees when people are sleeping. I would wake up
That's
in a pool
ridiculous.
of sweat.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
If I don't have it at 75 degrees when I'm sleeping, I wake up drenched.
I am at the limit at 77. That is the limit. If it's 78, it's too hot.
Oh yeah, it's excruciating.
Yeah.
They say during the winter for heating, I think they were saying, where is it? I forget what they were saying during the winter, but
59.
I will say I'm a lot less worried about being warm in the winter than I am worried about being cool in the summer.
So we were growing up. It was 68.
You can always put on more clothes.
67 degrees all winter long.
Yeah,
it was terribly cold.
Really?
We keep it right at about
quite nice to me.
71 to 72 during the winter.
Oh my!
67 is normal for us during the winter time.
Cold.
But Aaron, here's the thing: a lot of times in the winter, we don't have to run the heat because we get sun on the house in the morning and it warms up the house because my house warms up like crazy.
We get the wind during the winter.
Yeah, right.
We get the wind during the winter and it cuts right through the house. I mean, if it's not insulated.
Now,
properly.
do you guys run two different temperatures, day versus night?
No, we set it and forget it basically. I mean,
I usually don't during the summer, but in the wintertime I'll leave it warmer and I'll turn it off at night. I'll let it drop down to like 62, 63 at night.
Our primary
I'm with
heat,
Tombstone. I let it go down to around I think 68 at night and then 72 during the day.
I sleep better when it's cold.
Our primary heat,
that's like a primal caveman reflex thing.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Our primary heat
Aaron's
in the
like,
house,
don't primal caveman reflex me. I am the primal reflex caveman.
Our primary heat in the house is the pellet stove. And
nice.
So we can.
That's a lot of heat.
It is a ton of heat. And so, I mean, we live in it's about 1,500
it's like having
square
a kiln
feet.
in your living room.
It's like a 1,500 square foot home with the basement, I guess. Maybe 1,600 or so. And it heats the entire house very cozily. And in fact, the upstairs gets so warm, sometimes we have to open windows because it gets to like 90 degrees up in our loft here. And
my in-laws have a wood stove. And
wood stove, even toastier.
And my gosh, does it get warm in that one room? And I mean, the whole house. There's about, I think, 1,400 square foot. But I mean,
so
it's crazy the amount of heat those things pump out.
We end up with at least 80 degrees during the winter in the house. And that's keeping it very low too, like fairly low.
Yeah.
And my thing is I'd rather be running it a little hotter, make sure the pipes don't freeze in the basement. I don't have a heat device in the basement yet. I'm probably going to install like a propane heater down there and keep it on like 55 degrees or so, because it'll sometimes on the coldest of nights it'll drop down below that. So, keep it a little bit warmer down there, especially with the garage doors being on the front of the house. So but I don't know, guys. Today's suggestion, tomorrow's mandate. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Now, what are your thoughts on smart thermostats? Because for instance, my gas company gave us one of the Nest thermostats for $20.
No, that's kind of cool.
And a free Google Mini along with that.
Ooh.
As long as we were South Jersey customers and we promised that we would install it and use it.
Interesting.
So, and I found it to be rather annoying, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So my thing with those, I think the problem with those, though, that when you do the temperature swings during the day and the night, I don't think you're actually saving any money in the long run.
Right.
That's just personal opinion. And I've
also heard because of the constant on and off that it screws with your system a lot more. To make it more to make it more susceptible to wear and tear.
Yeah.
So, but ironically, I actually did figure out how to get into the programming, so it's programmed to be exactly the same temperature the whole time.
There you go.
Basically, I have a smart thermostat that's doing exactly what I want it to do and not what it's supposed to do.
Oh, that works.
Nice.
That works. I don't know.
But it looks cool.
I think it's. I am all about being conservative with natural resources.
Absolutely.
And electricity, coal, whatever. You shouldn't be excessive about it. Don't need to be. But man, that seems so warm. 78. I don't want to come home to an 85-degree house.
I was going to say, if I let my house get up to 85 degrees, it would take it 6 hours to get back down to that temperature.
Right, exactly.
That I want it to be, because that's crazy.
That's my biggest thing is like, if I wanted to get back down to that 74, 75 sweet spot, it's going to take hours.
Right. Basically, I have to wait till the sun goes down.
And I run the risk of freezing up my units. I run the risk because the cooling units, I've got the wall mount mini split units. And I run the risk of freezing them because the humidity gets too high in the house.
I actually froze our whole house unit.
Oh man,
out, and I didn't know it. So apparently there is a filter. So ours is underneath our house in our crawl space.
I'll have fun with that.
Apparently there's a filter in there that I did not know about.
Now you do.
It was so clogged that there was no airflow, and it froze up the whole thing. So that was $99 to have somebody come out there and tell me that.
Nice.
So
you gotta hate those service calls.
But at least it wasn't broken.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm happy about that.
I don't know. For some reason, I thought this was going to be more controversial of a topic than it was.
I mean, like you said, it really depends on when it stops being a suggestion and when it starts being mandatory. But
right,
I'm okay with suggestions. Just don't tell me what I have to do, because I will revolt over 76 degrees.
Yep.
Don't push me, feds. This is a hill I will die on.
America.
It was not always a given that the United States and America would have a close relationship.
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
It's Mr. McMillan. Would you like 30 seconds more?
Allow me to introduce myself. The rent is too damn high.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. But apparently the rent is not too high for Peter Thiel.
No.
Or is it Thiel or Thiel? What is it?
Thiel.
Oh,
Thiel. It's hard T because it's a Dutch name.
Oh. No.
So Peter Thiel is probably most famous for bankrupting Gawker.
Who is he? I know I've heard of him.
I've got no reference on.
I know I've heard of him. I know he's a billionaire.
He is a computer science guy. He's like the conservative. Actually, I would say reactionary. He probably would not consider himself as a conservative. He's a reactionary. He's kind of aligned with Curtis Yarvin.
What does he own? What is he known for?
So he worked for PayPal. He was the one that made PayPal what it was. And PayPal, he was actually working for a friend. PayPal was a division of his friend's company, and they were actually working on data modeling or something. And from what I understand, somebody said, "Hey, we need to make this some money." So he basically shanghaied all those engineers that were working on this other thing and said, "Hey, we're going to make something that makes money." And they developed PayPal, which became the premier online payment service. So that's how he made his billions.
All right.
And he's done a few other things, but he's a gay guy. And you may recall that Gawker magazine, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. They outed him somehow. Gawker, of course, being an online magazine. And he took them. No, pardon me. They outed him as being gay. He was mad about it. And then when they published the Hulk Hogan sex tape, Peter Thiel paid all the legal fees, orchestrated a civil lawsuit about that tape that bankrupted Gawker. He had to wait several years for his revenge, but it was quite sweet. This has only been like a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
I've totally forgot about all this.
Okay, so ever since then, he has gone on to work at a company, found a company called Palantir, and from what I understand, Palantir mostly works with the feds, and they do data mining, data modeling, and I honestly don't know what else. So, for the purposes of the article in question, all you need to know is that history, that Peter Thiel is not any kind of a progressive, and that Palantir works with Immigration and Customs Enforcement to identify illegal immigrants via the online footprint. And this is apparently highly controversial.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying like their web searches.
That was a really long intro to that segment, but
no, that's interesting. So you're talking like their web searches, what they're doing online. It can figure out whether they're illegal or not. That seems incredibly controversial, especially as far as Fourth Amendment.
That is a really good question. All I know is that they're involved. So what he's providing I'll read you what the article says. And this really does bear more research. Like, this is a very surface level overview. So dear audience,
no, that's
I apologize.
fine. That's fine.
So this is from Bloomberg. Palantir Technologies Inc. agreed to extend a contract to provide U.S. immigration authorities with data mining software, dismissing concerns from activists who say the technology enables unethical policies, including the separation of migrant families. Interesting, nobody's brought up Fourth Amendment issues, so maybe that's not in play here. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I would like to know. The contract with ICE Immigration and Customs Enforcement will continue through 2022, according to a redacted document made public this week. The value of the deal was not disclosed. The agreement strengthens a long-standing relationship wherein immigration officials use Palantir's data management software to build profiles on people.
Interesting. So, yeah, it seems as though it's using quote-unquote public data in order to determine whether or not someone is here legally or not, or what they're up to, which is I have Fourth Amendment issues with this. Just
absolutely.
I honestly, again, I don't know. I will be happy to do more digging and find out exactly what is going on if I can.
Yeah. No. Well, I imagine a lot of the stuff you won't.
I can promise you though, if there's anything hinky about what's going on, there will be a lawsuit about it.
No
because
doubt.
Immigration activists are extremely well funded and extremely well motivated.
Right. My biggest concern is this. I understand that there is no illusion of privacy when I do things in public.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that online, what I do lasts forever. Literally, it lasts for a lifetime.
Right.
So
I
think eventually we will get GDPR here, or GPDR, whichever it is.
What is that?
It's a European regulatory scheme, but among other things, it basically includes the right to be forgotten, which means that you cannot be tracked or your information can't be retained in perpetuity.
Cannot. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like
your
Google
usage of a product does not guarantee your consent to be
right. Google, like when did you get your Gmail?
Oh, good heavens!
Like 2006, 2007.
You want me to go back and I wonder if I can go back.
I remember I got an invite to Gmail. I did not sign up for a free account. I had to get an invite. That's how old my Gmail account is. And I still couldn't get one with my first and last name, and I'm still bitter about it.
I wonder if I can. I can't. I want to know.
So I think
how far I can go back on this.
The idea is really interesting that you can discriminate against people who are certain people groups. Not speaking about racially people groups, but whether or not they're illegal or whether or not they're whatever, just according to the amount of data that we have shared online. Because you have like Facebook being able to bring get all these people together for friend suggestions who have literally nothing in common theoretically, but because of their code that's written.
So
it can identify people who have never met who are like,
right.
Oh, well, this was my mother who gave me up for adoption 20 years ago that I've never met.
I have heard that. I don't know what's driving that. Now, I get asked to friend people at work that I'm not connected to, and I suspect that's because it's collating our geolocation, which is not great.
That's incredibly weird. That disturbs me.
Oz, I've read stories like you just said. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if we talked about that on the show.
I think
we did. I think we talked about it last year. We were talking about the Amazon or Facebook suggesting ads to you,
right?
When you were thinking about
right. We had a couple.
Which, by the way, I haven't had that happen recently. I noticed it a couple times in that time frame, and then it quit happening. So I wonder if they changed something in the algo.
Maybe
people were getting too freaked out.
But I think the thing is though, like that doesn't necessarily mean they're not still collecting
Oh
that
yeah,
data.
no, you're definitely,
and
you're
that's
right.
that's the scary part where it's like, okay, there's and I'm not saying that it's surprising because it seems like magic, because you're just giving them little bits of data here and there. Okay, you stop on a video and you watch a video for 30 seconds, and it takes into account you didn't watch the whole video, you watched 30 seconds of this video,
right?
And then you watch 10 seconds of this one, and then you liked this, and then you did all this, and by the time you get around to it, you have thousands of gigs of data on one person and what they like.
I did read today there is a way you can request all of the information that Google has on you, everything, and it
terrifying.
processes it and you can download it. Yeah, and I forget
terrifying.
where in the world I saw that, but it was like a legitimate source. It wasn't like one of these things that boomers post on Facebook.
Yeah,
sorry, boomers, we love you, love you, mean it.
That's Tombstone at thefrontporchshow.com.
Yes.
So it was September of 2005.
Have I ever shied away from controversy?
No, you haven't.
I didn't think so.
Never. September of 2005 was my
Were you
first,
the one that invited me to Gmail?
I may have. I don't know. When did you join? So if you go to your Gmail,
yeah,
and then up where it gives the unreasonable number of emails that you have.
Yes,
mine's 34,652.
Holy cow!
10,000 unread, by the way. I like to keep that number down around 5,000 unread, but it hasn't happened. And then so click on that and click oldest. It'll bring up your oldest email.
Hang on. I don't have an oldest. Am I looking in the wrong spot?
Up where it says up on the very top of your inbox.
Yep.
Go over to where it says where you can change the page numbers.
Yeah.
Right there where it says that, like, hover over the 1 to 100. So I was 9 of 2005.
The oldest thing I have
2012, but I know I had it before then.
So it's possible that I have deleted some older stuff.
And that's my thoughts.
But the absolute oldest thing I have in my inbox, are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
Was a Google chat message where you asked me if I was there.
Ah, that's amazing.
Nice.
Oh,
that was
beautiful.
On September 15th, 2007.
September 15th.
So maybe I didn't get an invite because I don't know when they started inviting people.
Yeah, it must have been around the same time. So yeah, it's super weird. I've got a whole bunch of chat.
No, wait. This is not correct. Why is this not showing me the oldest stuff?
I don't know, Tombstone. Oh, it's way down at the very bottom. I joined on 7/25/05.
Okay. It's January 15th, 2007. That's what it is.
And it was I was invited by Doug Cohn.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was invited by Doug Cohn.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. And then let's see. First text was with my brother-in-law. Second was with Alyssa. That's super weird. Who would have known? Who would have known 14 years ago? Were we dating at that time,
very
Alyssa?
first,
no, probably
the very first forum I signed up for was sksboards.com.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was a good.
And then after that was whenSHTF.com. And then the high road after that. I did all that in the space of like 6 months.
I did a whole bunch of Lake Champlain chocolates. Weird. Different.
That's
Isn't that
great.
interesting?
That's great.
Well, yeah, a whole lot of chats with people.
Apparently, this thing thinks that I was born in 1974.
Were you?
I don't think I was.
Behold the Google. I mean, if that's what they think, no wonder why you're getting
like,
ads for like old people.
This is like,
do you want a walker? I mean, help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
That's great.
I shouldn't make fun of people.
Dude,
born
apparently
in
we were
74.
having Dude, apparently we were having a bromance even back in August of 2007.
Tombstone, you and me, babe, forever.
I sent you a message that said, I miss you.
I'm telling you, Tombstone. Are you looking at your camera?
No.
Stay on target.
For those of you at home, Aaron was made a little heart for me. Okay,
in the words of Jerry Maguire, you complete me, Tombstone. You complete me.
We don't want to bore the audience.
I know. So what does all this mean, Tombstone? So there's a lot of data that you have out there on the interwebs with Google especially, and Peter Thiel and his Palantir might find it and send your information to ICE so they can deport you. There you go.
Basically,
so we'll come back.
Computer, crush it, and
we'll come back another time.
Go underground
if we can find more information about how all this works and whether your cleaning lady is in danger of being deported.
Because we all have a cleaning lady.
Tombstone at the Front Porch Show.
I'm just gonna stop.
We'll probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
We eat ribs and whatnot and listen to salsa music. You see where I'm coming from?
Free ponies for all Americans, one of the overlooked issues in America today.
Okay, guys. Best chicken sandwich.
Chick-fil-A by far. There's no question.
So we're talking about Popeyes, right? Is that where we're going with this?
Well, Popeyes
I've never tried
Chick-fil-A.
I've never tried Popeyes.
You've never had Popeyes?
Never have. We just got one.
You should definitely go try one.
It's in Gurr, a few miles from my house.
It's not worth it.
It's just not as good as Chick-fil-A. That's for sure.
Don't disappoint yourself.
But I think it's like, okay, so when I go, I'll normally get like 3 tenders, spicy barbecue sauce, and some dirty rice, which is rice with like sausage in it. Pretty good stuff. And it's delicious. It's good. They have decent fries there too. Don't get me wrong. But they came out, they debuted with their chicken sandwich the other day.
So they're like a nuggets and strips place usually, right?
I'd say strips and quarters or whatever.
Right for Popeyes, yeah.
Because they're like thighs and legs and breast and all that. Gotcha. I don't think they do nuggets. Just like
they're more like a not Chick-fil-A, but they're more like a KFC competition.
I'd say better than KFC, but
okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll allow that. I'm not a huge KFC person.
I'm not either. But so they decided to take on Chick-fil-A.
Bad idea.
That's a real bad idea.
A bad idea. You're going to have the entire South up in arms.
People on Twitter have been alluding to this fact for the last week, but apparently people have been really excited about it.
I'm not sure what there is to be excited over. I mean, it doesn't honestly look that good to me.
I don't know. I mean, I could. Do you need me to go do a field test? Because I can go do a field test.
I would love a side by side.
Can I comp it to the show?
Of course. We'll add it to your paycheck.
Add it to my check.
I'd love a side by side comparison of the Popeyes chicken sandwich versus the Chick-fil-A. I mean, I've got one, but I don't want to eat that much sandwich.
I hate to say we have no Popeyes anywhere near us.
The initial look here is that the pickles are too thick on the Popeyes sandwich.
Really? Because Chick-fil-A only does like 2 pickles tops, right?
I don't know. I got 3 on mine.
Yeah, it depends. But their pickles are from one pickle place. Like there's like this specific farm that makes pickles exclusively for Chick-fil-A.
Designer
amazing.
pickles.
It seriously is. It really is. It's this one farm that does pickles for Chick-fil-A. It's ridiculous and amazing. And like, I'm sorry, but Popeyes has no chance.
No.
They have
And
no chance.
so
Did you? So is that? I'm guessing that's common in food because I know Papa John's is the same thing. Like all their ingredients are sourced exactly a certain way. Like there's none of this going down to the farmer's market to see what Joe's got on the cart this week. It's like everything is hyper evaluated, hyper tested. They get exactly what they want.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the Chick-fil-A one I think it's a small town like place that makes the pickles, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's not exactly.
I mean, if you're only doing 2 or 3 pickles per sandwich, it doesn't take that many pickles to make. You know,
right.
How many? I guess.
I mean, how many Chick-fil-A's are there?
I thought they were expanding to like 5,000 this year.
It's ridiculous. It's amazing how they do it, though.
Oh yeah, you see one
saw-
going up, and it's just amazing.
I had a person that I'm related to who was getting deep into the Chick-fil-A corporate stuff.
Yeah,
and it is crazy. It was crazy how they do stuff. And,
I can't remember if I ever told you guys this, but I actually have been to the Chick-fil-A corporate campus in Jonesboro.
Have you really?
I have.
Nice.
And
did it smell like chicken?
It did not.
That's
I went
a
there.
shame. That is a shame.
I want to walk through.
there.
I want the HVAC system just to be
absolutely.
effervescing
Absolutely.
chicken.
Absolutely.
That's gross. That would get old so fast.
Anybody with a peanut allergy within 10 miles gone.
But so
There's
worth
like
it.
warnings on the outside of the town.
So worth it.
So I've been. So I went down there to interview for a job in 2009. It's been 10 years ago.
Do you feel
and
old?
I didn't get the job, as you now know. But it was a very interesting experience. Everybody was very nice. The guy who interviewed me was super nice, even though it was a fairly low level position.
All right.
They have a cafeteria there in the office park.
Serving Chick-fil-A.
It serves Chick-fil-A, but it also serves. It doesn't just serve fried chicken. It serves other stuff too.
Ooh.
So
they said people that go to work there put on a freshman 15.
Oh, I guarantee.
I have a serious question for you, Toom. So did he end the interview with "It's my pleasure"?
I don't remember. So the way it ended. So they have like a little HR handler that gets you in and out the door, and
right.
make sure you're not a psychopath and all this stuff.
It's probably a good
Pat
call
failed
with
that
you.
test.
Yeah. No wonder why you didn't get the job.
But they have, so it's the whole lobby area, because it's not a skyscraper, it's a high rise. It's like 15-story high rise, and so in the bottom it's got like a little fountain and all this other stuff. But they have like a little a mock-up of how the original dwarf grill looked in 1946 or 47, whenever.
You mean the little person grill?
Yes, thank you, Aaron. The little person grill.
And the little person house.
So, but it basically, and all it is a 1940 style diner. It wasn't anything fancy. They had a little mock-up of it, a little hallway, and you kind of walk through, and they had little sound clips playing. It's kind of cool. Other than that, it was a fairly routine interview. We interviewed in the cafeteria. The guy asked me if I wanted anything, and I was like, "No, I'm interviewing. I'm not going to try."
Are you crazy? What is wrong with you?
Exactly.
Wow.
Oh
yeah.
my
It's
gosh.
like, is that a baited?
Dude,
like,
I don't know.
How do I get an interview there? I want free food.
I didn't think about it long enough to consider whether it might be a trick question. I was like, my palms are sweaty. It's like my second or first interview out of college. Like I'm
sitting
my
there
palms
thinking,
are sweaty.
Did you tell
My
them that
armpits
you've
are
never had
damp.
Chick-fil-A before? Is that what happened? You were like, "No, I've never eaten this stuff."
No.
They're like, we can't hire you.
No, that would
I have an
hilarious, though.
existential personal crisis and a personal boycott against Chick-fil-A
So
sandwiches.
I will
tell you that the park is really nice. The office park is really nice. So
I bet.
it's three buildings. They have a little duck pond. They have walking trails for exercise, all this stuff. But anyways, it's in a kind of a sketchy part of town though.
Is it really?
Yeah, at least it was back then. It's probably gotten better since then because they were building developments back then. But
Have you guys ever had the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese?
no.
I keep hearing that it's amazing. And I've never.
They had this. I did have this one thing. It was like a tortilla soup. And I don't think
they have that
anymore.
every once in a while.
Oh, that was killer, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. We accidentally got that one time. Like, they gave it to us, and it wasn't, like, part of our order. And so they just gave it to us for free because they already handed it to us, which is stinking amazing. So that's, like, the one thing you hope for when you go into the drive-thru is that they hand you the wrong thing. Because they will let you keep it and then give you the correct food.
Right.
It's like, awesome. It is awesome. And a little tidbit, right? If you go between the hours of breakfast to lunch, which is usually about 10-ish, 10:30 when they're switching over everything, if they have leftover breakfast stuff, sometimes they put it in your bag.
I have been gifted leftover breakfast.
I am a fan of leftover breakfast.
But I've also come up dry on getting a chicken biscuit at 10:28.
10:31.
That is very sad.
That is sad.
Okay, guys.
But it happens.
Is it really that much worse having to say, hey, you know what? I just need a chicken sandwich.
It's really not that. That's the thing. I mean, I'm a breakfast person. I love chicken biscuits, but it's really not that bad to say. It's just because it's late enough. It's 10:30. It's like, I'll have a number one with large Dr. Pepper, medium fries, or medium fries, large Dr. Pepper.
Absolutely.
So, anyways,
I don't know, guys.
We're now Palantir's collecting our Chick-fil-A data.
I get really depressed over not.
It's highly personalized.
If I show up at the wrong time, but
you did not do that. Then
there's extreme amounts of joy that go through my heart, though, and also lots of cholesterol that go through my heart
because
I
I'm
do
a late
get there
sleeper.
At 10:31 and they hand me the extra biscuit.
Yes, exactly. I'm a late sleeper sometimes on Saturday, so sometimes I'll run out at 10:15 and just barely squeak in. It's a good feeling.
My heart literally skips a beat.
It does, seriously. And are you going to get? Here's the question: are you going to get that from Popeyes?
No, we should rename.
You're just going to get disappointment.
We should rename this episode. We should call this episode 1029.
10:29.
Yes,
I like it.
Yes.
No, Popeyes takes forever here.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it. Now, guys, okay, Bojangles.
Yes, I'm very sad to say, Bojangles is a Southern institution, and that is extremely hit and miss, and that should not be the case.
That is true.
It really is. I haven't had like an extremely great experience with Bojangles. Not that it was terrible, but
my disappointment with Bojangles is too greasy. Like, the biscuit is too greasy. I like it. It's good, like once in a blue moon.
Right.
But it's super greasy.
But now it's one of those things where it's like if you have a Popeyes, a Bojangles, and a Chick-fil-A right next to each other. Yeah, exactly.
No option. No contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
It's just sad.
Go ahead. Where do you guys Chick-fil-A? Where do you guys stand on the honey roasted barbecue sauce? You had that?
I haven't had it.
I have not had that.
Guys, check it out. I'm a big fan.
That. I love the Polynesian, man. That is killer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then like leftover nuggets, it's like crack, man. They're amazing. They're amazing.
I almost stole one from Myron tonight.
Dude, do you remember back in college that Chick-fil-A that was near the school and you could do the all-you-could-eat nuggets on Wednesday nights?
No, I never went to Chick-fil-A.
What is wrong with you?
I never went to Chick-fil-A.
It was amazing.
Listen,
it was
I was in college in Taylor's. You can barely get in and out of there at any time of day.
It was like $10, and the dude would walk around with like a tray full of nuggets and just hand them to you.
I know, but you have to fight every other. You have to fight every other soccer mom in Taylor's to get in there. Is the problem?
See, I won't fight people for food.
Yeah.
That was a chicken deficient time in your life.
Now look,
you and your minivan, I will take you out anytime. Man.
Yes, that's amazing.
Get your swagger wagon out of the way. I need chicken.
Oh man,
the passion, the absolute passion.
2009 was a different time, guys.
It's true.
Just saying.
Oh my gosh, wasn't it?
Look, see, I was not a huge fan of Chick-fil-A. Because number one, I don't think I had it at that time, except for I think I had it at school once when they were doing they bring in like coolers of it and sell it at the soccer stadium.
Well, you know, they after you left, like a year after you left, they actually put like a Chick-fil-A in the student center.
Really? No way. What in the world?
Oh yeah.
What in the world?
Yep, it was amazing.
Alrighty. Well then.
It was amazing.
I would have gained way too much weight. The
worst part was I was a poor college student and I couldn't take out a loan and justify going to Chick-fil-A with the money.
Yes, exactly. It's like, can I put this on my college loan?
Right.
It's like, will Sally Mae cover this? Will the federal government back my Chick-fil-A
I am now
purchases?
paying 18% interest on this $10,000 Chick-fil-A loan.
Was it worth
And I
it
need
though?
the government to pay it off for me.
Was it worth it? It was.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was.
Oh
It
yeah,
was worth
every
it. It was
second of
absolutely
it,
worth
man.
Look,
Every second.
I know this is going to sound crazy, but chicken tender Sunday at school. So we had a cafeteria at school, and it was
chicken tenders.
It was cafeteria
awesome.
style cafeteria.
Oh, yeah.
like it was
Hardcore.
two entrees, and then two entrees, a couple sides, and the first year I was there, I don't know if we had the salad bar yet. We might have had the salad bar. And then
Pink and blue trays.
Yeah, the pink and blue trays were terrible things.
Yep. Those little tiny glasses. Those were the worst.
Miserable food service. But anyways, chicken tender Sunday.
Oh man,
that may have been the best day of the week.
You had to
like
knock
once a
people
month.
over for them chicken tenders.
Oh yeah, man. It was once a month. How are those? You worked in the dining common. How were those cooked? Were they actually fried up or?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So they were legit.
They had about 10 large fryers in the back.
They were just constantly frying.
fry.
Were they like fresh chicken tenders or?
Well, I mean, they were frozen.
Frozen,
but-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were frozen, and they would literally just go through bags. I mean, we would have racks upon racks of chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Because everybody took they would pile it up.
Oh yeah.
It was piled up. It was like your grandma was serving you chicken tenders.
Oh, yeah.
And just went boom, chicken
Oh
tenders
yeah, it was
on your plate.
You'd go through line and you'd end up with dozens of chicken tenders on your plate.
Oh yeah, exactly.
With
it was crazy.
Just like
it was
bowls full of barbecue sauce.
It was like no one had ever eaten and just waited that once a month to eat chicken tenders. And we're like, man, I haven't eaten in 10 days.
Like chicken tender Sunday, man.
Give me the chicken tenders.
Chicken tender Sunday.
Oh.
I remember the rush from because we had a church service on.
Oh my goodness.
We had a church
man.
service on campus.
People literally running to get in line.
It's like, guys,
to get there
it is
first.
not that worth it. Like it's good. Half the
You know
time.
what?
Half the time we'd wait.
At the time, it was completely worth it.
I don't know, man. Was it? Was it really?
At least we thought it was.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
man.
I'll go with that.
Oh gosh.
Oh, wow. How did we devolve from Popeyes to? Okay, so was that meme you sent me real?
Which one?
Sadly,
the
sadly, I got really excited there for a minute. All right, so if you look on, oh shoot, where'd it go?
Because I get this meme that shows Chick-fil-A tweet, should have stayed in your lane, Popeyes. Want to play games? Our pleasure.
Yes.
And shows a bucket of chicken.
Yes. So the meme is basically supposedly from Chick-fil-A that they are going to be getting into the fried chicken business.
Like
like legitimate bucket of fried chicken, like you would get from Popeyes or I guess KFC traditionally. Sadly, it is fake. So some dude on the internet went and made it all up.
Because that would have been a beautiful savage tweet.
Could you imagine that? Dude,
Yes, I could.
I would sell my house and move closer to our Chick-fil-A if that happened.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
So how far is your closest Chick-fil-A?
It is 45 minutes away.
Oh, that's too far.
It's
Tombstone
rough.
for you? Where
It
is
is rough.
It's like a mile and a half.
Oh man, I'm an hour. I'm an hour and 10 minutes.
It's too far.
No.
It is, seriously.
Honestly, it's a
terrible.
good thing on both the pocketbook and on the belly.
Truth.
Waistline appreciates the distance.
Truth. But my happiness is in serious jeopardy.
True that.
And we're going to build that wall. It's going to be a great wall. And let me just tell you, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Never, ever give up. Don't give up. Don't allow it to happen. If there's a concrete wall in front of you, go through it, go over it, go around it, but get to the other side of that wall.
Love it.
Guys,
it's brilliant.
Dude, I just want you to know you have a real talent for cutting intros.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I feel like that might be more monetizable than this actual show.
Just the intros.
You could go to work just cutting intros for different talk shows around the country.
That works.
It could be worse.
Guys, have you heard what's going on in Hong Kong? I don't know what that intro had, but I thought Great Wall of China, Great Wall of Hong Kong, which sounds like they need.
They do need a wall to keep out the Chinese armored vehicles or whatever.
Oh man!
So to me, I actually know almost nothing about what's going on in Hong Kong except that nobody's died yet, which is very interesting to me. Which suggests we're not looking at Tiananmen Square 2.0.
I think China is intentionally trying not to recreate
Plus there are more cameras. There are a lot more cameras everywhere.
By the way, did you know that they have a place called the Beverly Hills area in right outside of Hong Kong?
Did not know that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's
okay. So for those that need a little bit of history, so Hong Kong was leased to the British for 100 years, starting in I think 1899. And then it was signed back over. The lease was concluded in 1999. But they've had some kind of weird semi-autonomous thing going on where they kind of govern themselves with oversight from the mainland. That's I don't know much more about.
It's kind of like one of those: you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone.
Yeah. So the protests are about an extradition bill that was put into play, I guess, where.
Yeah.
I'm reading the wiki. I'm sorry. You got ahead of me.
Awkward pause. Okay.
If enacted, I'm quoting from the wiki because we're cheating. If enacted, the bill would allow local authorities to detain and extradite people who are wanted in territories that Hong Kong does not have extradition agreements with, including mainland China and Taiwan, which really raises the question of how autonomous they are. Because if they don't even have an extradition agreement with China, they're part of China, but they're not part of China.
It seems to me as though it might be a very similar situation.
So it appears that there's two they are in a separate jurisdiction from the regular Chinese government.
Yes.
And so this is basically a move to merge the jurisdictions or functionally merge them if you can be arrested for stuff on the mainland.
Which doesn't seem to be going very well.
No.
Well, I've always made this statement, and I truly believe it. You can only be ruled when you allow yourself to be ruled. The people of Hong Kong are not allowing themselves to be ruled right now.
Right.
They are putting down their foot and they are saying, no, we're not doing this. Have you seen the pictures coming out of there? Like the pictures of them waving American flags?
Yes, American flags.
They are literally
flags,
praying.
Pepe the Frog flags.
They are praying for the United States to do something.
I don't know what we should do, if anything.
I don't know either. I mean, the problem
except not encourage the Chinese. I mean, if Obama was in office, he would be encouraging the Chinese.
The problem we have right now is we're in this trade war with China, right?
Yes.
We can't do anything. We cannot flex anything. Otherwise, we're going to get in trouble with the Chinese. We're going to get nailed with tariffs.
Right.
Which, it does not with export tariffs, meaning all our prices will go up. Very similar to an entry tariff, kind of like we now have on Chinese goods coming in. All our goods, all the prices are, guess what? Going up.
They're inching up.
They are. Yes. Because companies cannot
somebody's
absorb
got
that
to pay
cost.
for it.
It's funny how that works. Taxes and tariffs. It's almost like taxes and tariffs are the same thing.
I think it's okay as long as we're not importing tea.
I'm not an economist, but I play one on the radio.
I mean, yes.
I'm just saying.
So
I mean, my heart goes out to these folks. I mean, they truly look like they want freedom. This demonstration has been going on for 11 weeks now.
Well, the thing with the demonstrations is like you always think about this is what's got me is just the sheer amount of people that are in the street.
Yeah.
You always have these demonstrations that, you have the left side that says that there were 1 million people in Washington, D.C. this week to support whoever, and there was like 5. And then you have the right side that says, 1,000 people were here to support this, and there were 8. But I mean, like, just like there are millions of people.
Right. So they formed a 28-mile-long human chain.
So I have to say, like, just reading through the timeline of what's happened, like, this seems like an incredibly civil episode. Like I said, as far as I know, nobody's died. Like there's been one girl had lost an eye to a rubber bullet, which is terrible. But with that many people on the ground, and that's as far as I know, that's the only thing that's happened.
And
so people were arrested in the hospital, and they threw a fit, and as a result, the government agreed to investigate the fact that the people were arrested in the hospital. So it seems to me like their government is fairly responsive. And honestly, being a politician in Hong Kong right now feels like you're being pulled in two directions.
So my question is this, I guess. This is the Hong Kong government, right? The Hong Kong government was going to sign this extradition treaty.
Yes.
And
that's my understanding.
The people are putting pressure on the government in Hong Kong, not really putting pressure on the Chinese government. But is the Hong Kong government the Chinese government?
But presumably the only reason this is happening is because the Chinese are putting pressure on the Hong Kong government. Like there's a push-pull thing going on there. Because the Chinese, they always try to get their way.
This
they're
whole
not
thing,
shy about moving the muscle.
This whole thing seems very similar to the situation in Taiwan. I mean, Taiwan, even though Taiwan is an independent country, China doesn't recognize it as an independent country. Very similarly to Hong Kong.
Right.
Hong Kong, granted, hasn't declared its independence, but could that happen? I mean, it's not like there can be a war. Heaven help the Hong Kong people.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are we going to do?
I don't know if that's if they want to be totally independent, they might.
I mean, they obviously don't want the communism. They don't want the statism. They don't want the.
Right.
Oh man,
I don't know. It's really hard.
Slide.
It's real. Honestly, the older I get, the more hesitant I am to apply an American template of freedom and justice on something like this because it's so difficult to know what all the underlying factors on the ground are.
We've discussed that before, though, on the show. Sometimes it sounds terrible to say, but some cultures and some people are not ready to rule themselves.
I don't think we could say that about Hong Kong, though.
I understand that, but it is a very different culture. And so I guess what I'm saying is, to your point, just importing this Western philosophy of governance, of self-governance on the people of Hong Kong and saying that it's a one-size-fits-all,
it's not so much that, because Hong Kong was actually governed Western style until the Chinese took it back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's not so much of me saying they need to do things a certain way, more like saying there's always a lot of propaganda floating back and forth, and like the flag, like they're not stupid. Like the American flags being flown, the Gasson flags being flown, that's a pretty blatant request for American intervention.
Right. I mean, they obviously know. They
know that we are big softies when it comes to the flag.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yes. Don't step on my flag. Don't burn my flag. So on some level, it may be just a simple statement of solidarity, which is fine.
But it seems like a plea for help, man. It just seems to me like
I'm mildly skeptical, but only mildly. I'm not a cynic. I mean, I am a cynic, but not about everything.
Right.
That's all I have constructive to say about that.
Yeah. So where do you guys, if you had to put your money on it?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think happens?
I think there will probably be an amicable resolution reached without something serious happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta agree.
I think
it's gonna be a standoff for a little while, but you're talking about the amount of people.
Set up a GoFundMe to run guns to Hong Kong.
Sponsored by the Front Porch Show. Let's see if we can fill up a shipping crate. For some reason, I don't think that'll go over too well with the
By the way,
man.
For those of you listening, we are not planning on violating ITAR.
No, not in the least. Not in the least. We've already had run-ins with them, and we do not want them again.
No.
This thing was 10 foot tall. He had beautiful hair. He looked like he had 6 fingers on each hand. I come out here and rough talked him and run him off. And I said, get away from here. Get. And he went right back out that path again.
That's right. We're talking about.
I went hiking in western North Carolina today, but I did not see Bigfoot.
You didn't see Bigfoot?
Didn't smell Bigfoot. Didn't see Bigfoot. Didn't see Bigfoot tracks.
Wait, you know what Bigfoot smells like?
Like skunk.
Like skunk ape, man. Skunk ape. I mean, come on, man.
I think Ben's
By the
disturbed
way,
we both said that at the same time.
Just so you know, Leif Erikson apparently had encounters with Bigfoot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Holy smokes.
In Greenland.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Google it, man. It says when I'm looking at a video right now that says when Leif met Bigfoot.
I'm
This is
pulling this up
amazing.
right now.
I'm going to ignore the part that says
in case you haven't
myth,
figured this out,
but-
dear audience, this is our Greenland segment where we talk about where Greenland is, how big it looks on a non-Mercator projection map, and whether Leif Erikson met Bigfoot there.
So we talked about that last week, Tombstone. But
the Mercator projection.
yeah, the
thing?
Mercator projection.
We did.
And
You know,
everything.
we did.
Oh yeah,
I apologize. But it's very important. I think it's very important because I'm not convinced the president has ever looked at Greenland without the Mercator projection.
Well, I don't think so either.
Maybe that's why he's. Maybe that's why he hasn't bullied Canada harder, because he thinks Canada's a bigger country than it actually is.
That's a good,
it's a thought.
That's a good point.
I love it.
So this week,
but see, that doesn't help Denmark because Denmark's so small. Either way, like it doesn't matter what projection map.
well,
you use.
let's be honest.
Right.
I think Denmark's compensating with Greenland.
I mean, I don't even know what to say to that.
I'm just, anyways. No, so I'm about to lose it here.
I've got nothing.
So
I mean, it's big, it's white, it's icy.
Right, exactly.
See,
exactly.
The only thing I can think of is like.
So Ben, how did you come across this thing about Leif Erikson and Bigfoot?
I Googled it.
Yeah, man.
But why? No. What did you Google?
I Googled Leif. I'm sorry. I Googled Greenland Sasquatch.
Yeah.
What possessed you to do that?
Because the intro.
Why?
Just because of the intro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with your ingenuity. Can we make him our official Googler, Aaron?
I'm just saying.
He seems to have accepted the role already. So
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, I even like put down a little link there for you to click on.
Yeah, man.
Wikipedia does not mention Bigfoot in the article on Leif Erikson.
It's unfortunate. We should edit it.
This is depressing.
We should edit it.
We can make Ben our official Wikipedia editor. Our editorial staff is Ben.
You'll know it's me by the misspellings.
Didn't do too hot in that English class in college, eh?
Oh man,
I'm not sure. Is this a reputable site, Ben? The URL is bigfootinNewEngland.com.
Of course it's not.
You didn't ask me about reputability, so I'm just saying.
Let's be honest.
I love they have an article here about Jane Goodall's approach to field research, which is actually very topical for this subject.
I mean, I'm just saying, just think about the search itself, and you think
those
that
are
it's
some
going to come
very
up with something that is going to actually.
Those are some very muscular Skraelings that are not wearing any clothes.
They were kind of terrifying, yeah.
Okay, I could have gone my entire life without seeing that. So anyway, you should definitely check this website out. By the way, we'll post it in the show notes, right, Aaron?
We should hopefully. So where were we going?
What did Leif actually say?
I don't know.
He said they encountered huge hairy men. That's he said they had he said they had smelled nasty. I mean, it could have been skunk ape. I don't know. That's in Newfoundland though, not Greenland, just so you know. So this is not even relevant to our discussion.
Well,
I mean, Greenland is relatively close to Newfoundland, so
maybe they mistaken it.
We are still, as of this recording, we're still short on historical evidence for Bigfoot in Greenland. However, what we're not short on,
we can fabricate some
a good case to build a Trump resort in Greenland.
I still think that's a good idea.
So here's the crazy thing about this. So apparently what has Trump actually said about this? Has he said anything?
He put the
everything. It's like everything is rumors.
He was supposed to have a state visit with the Queen of Denmark.
No, Prime Minister.
That's right.
They might have. I mean, I think they do have a queen, or they have some kind of royalty.
Right. So they were supposed to have a meeting with the Prime Minister of Denmark, and he canceled the meeting. He canceled.
So we know this for a fact.
Yes, after the Prime Minister dismisses the Greenland buy publicly, he cancels the meeting. He calls the Danish
sad.
Prime Minister's response on Greenland, and I quote, nasty.
Of course he did. Because what other adjective would he use?
There is none, Tombstone. There is no Tombstone. And
I think the president is senile.
So he may very well be.
But are they going to let him open a resort there?
So they have had.
Apparently not.
That's what I want to know.
They've talked on the phone together since this all went down. Everyone claims that they're all
made nice,
copacetic and everything. And but that being said, he also got snubbed by the Queen. They do have a queen. Also got snubbed by the crown or queen or princess, whatever she's called there, whatever their monarch is called there.
Okay.
She wasn't happy either.
Right.
So by the royalty that nobody knows.
Yeah.
It'll hurt your reputation.
So the whole thing's just hilarious that he canceled the trip because of that.
I don't
or that the fact is that the trip was planned because he wanted to talk about this. Like he was that serious about doing this that he wanted to go over there and talk to them about it.
I mean, I still think it's a really solid idea.
I don't have any problems with it.
I feel like buying empty territory is almost always a good strategic and economic investment.
I kind of agree. I mean, even personally, that seems like a good plan.
Yeah.
Buying up all the land you could possibly buy is
exactly because they aren't making any more.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Land value is only going to go up. So
yes.
Well, at least till Elon gets to Mars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I'll be there.
It.
I want my
Right.
40 acres. I want my 40 acres on Mars, man.
Dude, I'm sure you can find a real estate agent that'll sell it to you.
Tombstone's waiting on that promise from Elon Musk. 40 acres and an alien mule.
Let me ask you this. I don't need an alien mule. I just need one of those little robot four-legged mule things. That's all I need.
There you go.
To pull my plow across the ground in the dusty soil of Mars.
I think that's such a beautiful picture.
It really is. It's like American Gothic, but on Mars. Like I think a dude in a spacesuit holding a pitchfork, and his wife holding a robot cattle prod. I guess I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm just making this up. Give me a look.
Robot cattle prods.
Where's your mind, Ben?
I'm
Anyways,
just amazed that it's gotten this far.
Where'd Aaron go?
I'm sorry. I'm writing stuff down right now. Sorry,
okay.
guys. I take notes during the show.
Can that go in an intro?
Which part?
Robot cattle prod.
Oh, of course. That's actually the name of the episode. So
yes, I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so here's actually a semi-serious question. If we were going to buy something besides Greenland, what would we buy? Something roughly equivalent.
Hong Kong's good. I like Hong Kong.
I'll give you Hong Kong. What after that?
You know how much money we could make off of Hong Kong? I'm just saying.
I don't think we could afford Hong Kong, to be perfectly honest with you.
You know
Siberia.
We can give them.
But it's owned by the Russians. Like, what's something that's relatively unattached that we could purchase and improve our situation and the other country's situation?
I mean,
are we buying a giant chunk of Siberia doesn't really help anybody?
Are we trying to make it a completely uninhabitable place? Is that what we're going for? Then why don't we just populate the moon?
I mean, I'm going.
We already have a flag there.
The problem, we can't buy the moon though.
But we have a flag there.
Yeah,
we do have a flag.
We technically already claimed it. It's ours.
We have adverse possession.
I honestly don't care about world treaties or anything else. Our flag's there. We own it.
Exactly.
So I think we should buy Cuba.
Cuba. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like Cuba. I mean, I really like Cuba.
I don't know if they would sell to us, but we could probably afford it because it's poor, and we could put resorts on it.
Like a backroom deal with Russia and they
do with
sell
the
it to
Castro
us.
family. I don't
That'd
think
be
it's owned by
crazy.
the Russians, but the Russians could facilitate.
Russians basically
Definitely
own it.
have them
I mean,
That
facilitate.
would be crazy.
it'd be interesting. I think Western Australia would be cool. I'm thinking resources here, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Western Australia would be awesome. Plus, it's gorgeous.
I mean,
I'm-
pork
I'm
is
just-
a resource.
Can you imagine
Cuba.
having Australians as Americans?
Oh, I
That
think a
would be
lot
like-
of
it'd be like-
Australians could cope with that.
It would be like no. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying like, can you imagine like you have like Texas and Australians?
Yeah.
West-
oh yeah.
Western-
yeah, yeah.
Western Texas.
insane.
We just call
That
it
would be
West
insane.
South. We call it
Texas.
Southwest Texas.
Texas on the Pacific,
Yeah, exactly.
on the
Pretty-
Indian
pretty much
Ocean,
the same
actually.
This is now known as the island of Texas.
Have you guys heard the interesting stuff going on in Australia, the government wise?
No.
What's
It
going on in
hasn't
Australia?
really hit the news. It's a total random tidbit here. So the prime minister in Australia is a professing Christian, pro-life conservative Christian,
Really?
and the problem is that he's got one person, like they hold a razor thin margin because it's parliamentary procedures, all that stuff.
Interesting.
They hold a 1 vote majority right now, and he's got one person who doesn't like him threatening to leave the coalition, which all of a sudden means he's no
It's
longer
always
prime
that-
minister.
It's always that one person.
Yeah, the person is like vehemently pro-choice,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's rough situation down there. So, anyways, totally random tidbit there, guys.
That is random.
Yeah, you're
Well,
welcome. Welcome to the Front Porch Show.
Figure yourselves out, Australia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Australia. Figure yourselves out because we might want to buy you. I mean,
Right.
you might
We're
be
more-
next on the list.
We're more than willing to make you a part of Texas.
The Republic of Southwest Texas.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun? Say yeah!
My theory is it's casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff. And it told me to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
This wars off smells right here. This is a special leprechaun flute, which has been passed down from thousands of years ago from my great-great-grandfather who was Irish. I just came to help out.
I'm gonna run a backhoe and uproot that tree. I wanna know where to go. I want to go. Give me the go. I want to go.
Gotta ask you the question, guys. Hot and fresh or in a box for a little bit?
I know that I'm afraid Ozzy's going to give the wrong answer.
I'm going with hot and fresh because
Okay, that's the right answer.
It's like eating a baby angel.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness.
Eating a
Oh
baby
my
angel.
goodness.
I don't even know. I don't even know how to process.
Ozzy
that.
just said
But that's
it was
exactly
like
what
eating
it
a
is.
baby angel. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Where
It
did
is.
you hear that? Like,
I
is
don't
that
know.
just
I
okay?
have no idea. I don't remember.
Friend of ours, Matthew, who's been on the show before. He's actually going to be on next week. He's going to join us in studio. He says the same thing about Krispy Kreme.
Yeah,
He's
I
like-
don't remember if I heard it from when I was in college. I honestly don't remember where I heard that from.
Just all of a sudden, he takes a bite into one day, and he's like, "It's like eating a baby angel." And I'm like,
Oh yeah, it
so
absolutely is.
It is. It is so fluffy and happy and sugary. And
You just
do
can't
you
stop.
remember? Do you remember in college? You know, I don't have a ton of great things to say about where we went to school, just for a variety of reasons. But that day, once every 4 years, when they came in with a dozen donuts for each person in the room,
Oh man,
that was incredible.
oh man,
That was a crazy day.
Those were good days.
It was that. Yeah.
I
Well, a
love
good
Krispy
day.
Kreme, and I absolutely cannot go there because I eat it.
I haven't been in years intentionally.
We don't have any near us. It closed
Oh no.
like before I got here. It was depressing. New Jersey doesn't like happiness, apparently.
No,
No, they
well,
don't.
we know this
Well,
though. New Jersey's like the anti-happy state.
Right. A good point. Ireland likes happiness, though.
Oh yes.
Krispy Kreme decided to open a 24-hour drive-through
Oh
in
my gosh!
Blanchardstown, Ireland.
Wow.
Now that
is a
sounds
bold
simply
move.
amazing.
I like it.
The problem is they had to close it after 1 week because there were too many cars.
Wait, what?
It was probably affecting. It's probably one of those little towns with no.
It was affecting traffic. It was affecting the neighbors. It was affecting everything. There were so many people.
Here's the deal. This is why Krispy Kreme and Chick-fil-A need to get together. All right? Because you have Chick-fil-A, you smash like a piece of chicken between two Krispy Kreme donuts. And you have Chick-fil-A in how they handle traffic.
Wow.
It would be like mind-blowing. And since they're like baby angels, Tombstone's got his Jesus chicken smashed between two baby angels.
That's amazing.
Gosh. I took the liberty of looking up the Krispy Kreme location in Blanchardstown, Ireland.
Yeah.
And it is in a like not a strip mall, but like a little restaurant area across from an actual mall.
Like the funny thing is that there's more parking there than I expected to see.
There's quite a bit of parking,
which is hilarious.
But my guess is with the way that the intersection is set up that it's next to, like it was clogging up the intersection.
The fact is
there's
that
other stuff there. There's a McDonald's and some other stuff, but apparently none of them were hitting nearly the volume of traffic.
Which is incredible
thing.
Because it doesn't seem like
imagine if to see what they need to do is to divert the traffic is put a Chick-fil-A on the other side of town.
Exactly. Boom. Either way, Chick-fil-A is the solution to this problem.
You can't be both places at the same time. Therefore, it should be more efficient.
It just seems so wild that there's so much traffic just for Krispy Kreme donuts. I mean, 24/7. Really?
Is there a video from the article?
There is. I am not sure if there's any audio behind the video.
Does it give a visual of like how much traffic there is?
Oh yeah, so it's actually, so if you look at that picture of the traffic, right? It is wrapped down and back up that parking lot next to the Krispy Kreme.
So it's completely full.
And then out into the parkway going around the mall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That's wild.
It's incredible.
Are they going to reopen it at some point?
So it's still open, but it's not open 24/7.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so we haven't completely.
No, we haven't completely shut down Krispy Kreme.
Got it. Okay,
but apparently it was the nighttime stuff. The picture they took is of like 1,000 cars at 11:15 p.m.
What?
Oh my!
Yeah,
gosh.
Man,
that's crazy.
That's
insane.
Clearly, those Irish people are seriously hard up for delicious drive-through.
my assumption is that they
do they have donuts in Ireland? Have they seen them before? Is
They
this
do
like a
now.
new thing? I'm just saying
they do now, guys.
We need a source on the ground. Hang on,
but...
I'm gonna message somebody that might know.
I was gonna say, don't you have a friend over there?
I don't have anybody in Ireland. I have a guy in Scotland, which is, almost exactly the same thing.
He listens to the show, by the way. Hey, guy in Scotland.
Scotland's not a third world country.
They have a TGI Fridays. Am I looking at America or am I looking at Ireland?
I know. No wonder they hate us.
KFC?
Poo.
Liberty Insurance. We have Liberty Insurance here in the States.
Mickey D's.
Mickey D's. They got Mushashi Sushi.
Yeah.
This whole place looks very American. Good grief. Is this this has got to be a military town or something. Is there like a U.S. military base there?
Dude, I have no idea.
No, it's just outside of Dublin.
I mean, you realize genetically speaking, the Irish are not any different from us.
Well, yeah, I mean.
So they probably like the same kind of stuff.
Right. Food that's stuffed with sugar and
Food
terribly
that's
bad for
delicious
you.
and yummy and fat and sweet.
Well, that's
me.
true too. That's true too. How many Krispy Kremes are actually in Ireland?
I don't know. And I don't know. Let me see. Let me try and do a search. I don't know if Google will give me the answer to this or not.
I'm super
it's
curious.
It's going to come up with a
it.
Krispy Kreme in like Ireland, Idaho, or something.
No,
that appears to be
that's the only one. That's the problem. People are literally driving from all over Ireland.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
All 5 miles.
Some guy on the other side of the island asked his girlfriend at like 10 o'clock at night, is like, hey, you want to drive over to Dublin?
Yeah, hey baby
like,
wants a
sure.
Krispy Kreme.
Yep, it is the spot. That's where all the
it's like if you put a single
hanging out there.
It's like if you put a single QT in Ireland, you probably have exactly the same
On
Same
Wednesday
thing.
night and Thursday night, the busiest times are after 9 p.m.
That's insane.
or
Yeah.
right around 9 p.m. Fridays, it's even busier around
Does the
9
work
p.m.
week stop on Thursday in Ireland?
Oh, Saturdays are packed all day.
Is this like the place that you hit before you go to the pub or after?
And Sundays are super
Or maybe
busy.
both.
Right,
I don't know.
that's the question
Maybe
right there.
maybe what Ireland actually needs is Waffle House.
I'm just...
Oh man,
Just
they'd have to
thoughts.
close down that so fast.
That's good.
Shoo-wee.
That's good, guys.
I'm searching for Waffle House in Ireland.
Let's see. Let's see.
There is not a
right
Waffle
across
House
the
in
street.
Ireland. There's something called Mr. Waffle in Galway, which is probably
That sounds-
not the same.
That's
Terribly
betting
depressing.
it's not the same thing at
Yep.
all.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how Americanized this looks here. Hey, they have a TK Maxx. Is that like TJ Maxx?
Who knows? Is it two?
It's the
X's?
same. It's the same logo. It just says TK Maxx.
That's hilarious.
They stole it
Rebranding,
from
man.
us.
They stole
it from us. It's if you guys want to see it, it's directly north of next to Walton's Music across the parking lot.
All right.
See, that's what they should.
I
put
feel like
the-
I'm
that's what
I'm
they
going to
should
see
put the
about
Waffle House right there.
I'm going to
There's
see
plenty
about
of-
getting
there's
us
like nothing right there.
I'm going to see about finding out more information on the ground here because I
Okay,
feel like
yeah,
this needs-
work on
this
that.
needs Some light shed on it.
Guys, I have another story here that is traumatizing, to say the least.
Oh dear.
Ended up getting a full segment on Fox Morning News, which means
Oh,
it has to be
no.
serious.
Serious business.
It is.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. This is
So,
serious.
the gentleman wrote on Reddit, of course, because that's where news is made, other than Twitter.
True
Yes.
news.
True news.
Yes.
True news. Growing up, my brother and I would play pranks on each other. I say each other. He
Like you do.
he would prank me relentlessly. And then he
So I'm
shared the
guessing this
story.
guy's younger brother.
Right, and then he shared this story. Grandpa was an amazing baker, and he made me a batch of cookies for my 9th birthday, I believe, which he'd seal in an airtight glass box for me. I don't know how or when, but my brother got a hold of this box and proceeded to fart in it. Then sealed it back up.
That's disgusting.
On my birthday, he handed me the cookie box and said, "Grandpa,
Why are you telling me about this?
just wait. Grandpa put some extra stank in this batch." He goes on to say that when he opened the cookies, the smell hit him and he threw up all over the cookies. Now, fast forward to the wedding day of his brother.
No. Oh no.
The ceremony is all over. He goes into the reception. They're posing for pictures. They're cutting the cake. I don't know why it came to me, but I just leaned over to my brother as his wife was about to take a bite of the cake and said, "I put some extra stank into the cake."
No.
That's brilliant.
Instead, the groom
That's brilliant.
slapped the cake out of the bride's hands, then whispered something into her ear. I told him I didn't, and it was just a dumb joke, but he was too mad to listen.
Oh man.
The groom thought he had gone in the cake.
Oh,
Somehow
that's
before it
gross.
was baked.
Okay.
And so he was too embarrassed to protest. He just left the wedding, and he hasn't spoken to them in over a week.
That's hilarious.
He
Deserved
didn't
it.
do anything. Left a little extra stank in the
Okay.
cake. So front page. This was Fox News, front page news on Fox the other morning, just so everyone knows.
I feel like
Uh,
I don't know. I have no use for Fox, and I'm not saying that because I'm
Quality
some kind of
news.
news hipster, although I am. I just can't.
No, so
can't
so totally weird tangent here. Fox News has gone way downhill in the last year, or in the last 5 years.
Now,
As far as
you realize
reporting.
if you say that, there's going to be people that are saying
I
that
know.
Fox has always been trash.
I know that, and I'm okay with that.
It's always been CNN's redneck tabloid reading cousin.
I know that, but it just seems like in the last 5 years that it's gone more downhill than that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. It's kind of a bummer. I don't know. As much as I hate the fact that news is biased or news is slanted towards certain categories or certain political leanings.
Let's get this right. No news organization is slanted.
No, that's none is non-biased. They're all non-biased.
Yeah.
They're all non-biased. Okay.
They wouldn't be able to have news in their name if they were.
No, so I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, so there you go. Hopefully he's going to talk to his brother and smooth things out.
That's pretty funny.
Guys, that's all for this week. Check us out on the web, www.thefrontporchshow.com. Listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, anywhere where you like to get your online content. Also, if you feel so inclined, reach out to your local radio stations. Let them know that we are looking for a home. We'll catch you next week. Later.